Hi everybody, this is the second video about rotations, and in this video I'm going to show us how to rotate around a point that's not the origin. So we're going to see how to rotate our image around this point 1, 2 here. Alright, so in the previous video we saw that we can type in our equations for rotation. So we have x cosine t minus y sine t. This is our equation for x. And x sine t plus y cosine t is our equation for y. And then we added in our slider here, which goes from 0 to 2 pi. All right, so if I'm going to rotate around this point, what I have to do is I have to modify these two equations right here. I actually have to shift everything so that my center of rotation is no longer 0, 0, but my center of rotation is going to be the point 1, 2. And so this is very similar to doing function transformations. If you wanted to shift all your x coordinates or shift all your y coordinates, what we're going to do is we're going to subtract that amount from all of our x's and the appropriate amounts from all of our y's. All right, so since my center here is 1, 2, I'm going to look at this x coordinate 1, and I'm going to take that away from all of my x's here. So I'm going to do x minus 1 on this one, and I'm going to do x minus 1 here, right? So I subtracted 1 from all my x's, and then I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to subtract 2 from all of my y's. Okay, so I'm going to do all my y's. So this, on the surface, it looks fine, right? So you subtracted 1 from your x's, you subtracted 2 from your y's. But it's not going to work out for us because what we need is we actually need to shift that new x coordinate as well. And so the way that we see that in the equations is we're going to need to add 1 to our rotation equation for x. So again, the 1 comes from this x here. And we're going to need to add 2 to our equation for y. And the 2 comes from this here. Right, so you shifted all your x's, you subtracted 1s from these x's, you subtracted 2s from these y's, and then in your equation for x, you added a 1, in your equation for y, you added a 2. So just like we did before, I'm going to go ahead and copy this equation for x. I'm going to replace all of my x's with this new equation. And I'm going to replace all of my y's with this new equation for y. Okay, and so if I do that, what you'll notice is I have this point here, and I can rotate it, right? So it looks like where I'm rotating my point, it spins right around this 1, 2 right here, right? So we're spinning this point, this line segment around this point 1, 2 by this particular angle. And so if I wanted to rotate this, right, so if I wanted to rotate the whole image, what I'm going to do is I'm going to go through, I'm going to replace all my x's with this new equation for x, I'm going to replace all of my y's with this new equation for y. So let's go ahead and do the next one. So I'm going to replace this x in my domain restriction. I have this x over here that has a negative that goes along with it, so I'm going to be careful about that negative. Put this in parentheses to make sure the negative goes with everything. And then I have a y, so I'm going to replace my y with this. Okay, so let's check and let's see how this looks, right? So now these two look like they're moving together, and they're moving around that point, which is pretty good. All right, so things look good so far, so let's just continue on. I have 1 extra place in this next one, and I have 1 y to replace here. And then in my fourth equation, I have 1 extra place right here, and I have 1 y to replace here. All right, so it looks like we replaced everything, and if you look at our equations, this is why I recommend the copy and pasting, because these, right, if you were to try to type these out just directly, it would be pretty challenging. So all of this together looks pretty complicated, but if we take it that step by step, right, so we just created our line segments, and then we replaced everything in there, then we can get things to rotate around. And so again, if we want to sort of modify our image, right? So if we wanted to just keep continuously rotating around that point, we can do that by adjusting our sliders here. We can change the speed, we can make it go fast, or we can make it go slow. And if you just wanted it to say bounce back and forth, right? So if I wanted it to sort of just bob back and forth like this, I could sort of see where those angles are. So say 2.3 out to say, I don't know, 3. Maybe I want it to bounce back and forth like that. So if I change my slider, say from 2.3 to 3, we could get our star just to bounce back and forth like this, right? So if you wanted to say have a hand waving or a tail wagging or something like that, or flowers moving in the breeze, this might be a nice effect for you to have. All right, so hope this helps out. Thanks for watching.